Guys, this is Mr. Joshy J, and this is your driver ratings and team ratings for the Turkish Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas absolutely dominates. So right, in this video, we rate all the teams and drivers' performances over the weekend. So right, let's start off. Now, I'm going to start off with Mercedes, so instead of starting with Hamilton first, I'm going to start with Bottas first. So Valtteri Bottas, 10. Absolute 10 for Valtteri Bottas. Dominant weekend, inherited pole position because of Lewis Hamilton's 10 grid place engine penalty. So he qualified P2, but then got promoted to P1 and P1 in a race, and really was under no pressure whatsoever. Looked like at the start he had a bit of a shaky start, didn't get off the line the best, but still, because of a short runoff down to the first corner, he got away with it. So, fantastic weekend to Bottas, fair play. Lewis Hamilton, 8 out of 10. P1 in qualifying, but got demoted to P11 because of the engine penalty, and P5 in the race. Made his way up the field very nicely, but then later on, very unhappy with the team that he had to come in for a new set of enters. So in the end, he did, and he just couldn't get his new tyres to work. He just could not close up to Leclerc, and he was under pressure in the end. So, but not the best races for Hamilton. Loses some points in the championship lead, which is not good. But the gap is only 6 points, so no need for alarm bells. Red Bull, Max Verstappen, 8 out of 10. I thought, as it's a bit of a wet race, I was thinking, right, this is surely Max Verstappen's race to lose. But no, Red Bull just did not quite have the pace to match Mercedes this weekend. So P3 in qualifying obviously got promoted to P2 because of Hamilton's penalty, and P2 in the race. So, 8 out of 10 for Max Verstappen. Extends his championship lead to 6 points. So, overall, a good weekend for the Dutch driver. Sergio Perez, 8 out of 10. Now, I gotta say, that was Perez's best performance in the Red Bull yet. Didn't have the best of qualifying, only qualified about P6, but then in the race, that defending against Hamilton, my goodness sake, that is one of the best drives I've ever seen from Sergio Perez. That was absolutely amazing. So fair play to Sergio Perez for putting up such a fight and back on the podium, and Red Bull need him to do that more often if they are to beat Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship this year. McLaren, Daniel Ricciardo, 0. Absolute 0 for Daniel Ricciardo. This was like the Daniel Ricciardo at the start of the season. Not good at all, He qualified P16, but then decided to take a penalty. And then in the race, came in for a fresh set of enters, but that gamble did not pay off. So, an awful weekend for Daniel Ricciardo. Once again, Lando Norris, 7 out of 10. Been a quiet weekend, really, for Lando Norris, but still, he still got points to the team, so, But not the best of weekends at McLaren, but still, Lando Norris gets the team some points, which is a good thing. Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, 8 out of 10. P4 in qualifying, obviously got promoted to P3, and P4 in the race. I thought he's absolutely superb, Leclerc, He tried to stay out. He wanted to stay out until the end and try and stay on his current set of tyres, and then But unfortunately, in the end, they burnt out, so that's how Bottas was able to re-overtake him. But a superb performance by Leclerc. Carlos Sainz, 10 out of 10, absolute 10 for Carlos Sainz. You know, he started last and made his way up the field and finished about P8, I believe. Absolutely fantastic. And quoted driving the day, and rightly so as well. That was superb by Carlos Sainz to make his way back up the field. Alpine, Fernando Alonso, 7 out of 10, you know. P5 in qualifying is actually P6, so again, because the Hamilton penalty, promoted to P5, got taken out by Gasly, and then later on made contact with Mick Schumacher. So, bit of a disappointing race for Fernando Alonso, as he really could have got loads of points for the team this weekend, but just unfortunately he got sandwiched between Gasly, and then him and Gasly made contact. I thought the penalty was very harsh, you know, like, I think they both had a 5-second time penalty, so yeah, very harsh decision, that in my opinion, by stewards, but it is what it is. Ocon, 7 out of 10, you know. I mean, he finished P10 in the race and was the only driver to stay on his sets of intermediate tyres the whole race. So, fair play for getting a point. That is absolutely amazing by Esteban Ocon to do the whole race on one set of tyres. And for Terry, Pierre Gasly, 10 out of 10. Absolute 10 for Pierre Gasly. I mean, he finished P5 or 6 in the race. It was P6 because Hamilton finished P5. So, yeah, absolutely superb weekend for Pierre Gasly, you know. So, yeah, great performance by French driver after a couple disappointing races. Yuki Tsunoda, 7 out of 10, you know. Got into Q3, great defensive driving against Hamilton, but then later on in the race made a mistake, which is so frustrating for Yuki Tsunoda, because he had a really good chance of getting some decent points this weekend, so it couldn't quite capitalise on that after making that error. So, yeah, a bit disappointing for Yuki. Aston Martin, Sebastian Vettel, 5 out of 10. Was running in the points, then decided to come in and put on a set of medium tyres when the track was still damp, which that gamble well and truly failed, because he went off about 4 times and ended up finishing P18, I believe. So, yeah, not a good weekend for Sebastian Vettel. Lance Stroll, 7 out of 10, you know. Got into Q3, I believe, and in the race finished in the points. So, fantastic performance by Lance Stroll. Alfa Romeo, Kimi Räikkönen, 5 out of 10. Obviously had that massive rant on the team radio that his drink wasn't working. Oh, fucking hell. I can't fucking get a drink. Oh, wow. Kimi Räikkönen, very angry on team radio. Because it's not ideal, really, is it, for a driver if their drink won't work during practice, qualifying, or the race. So, Raikkonen very unhappy, but yeah, not the best of weekends out from Mayo this weekend, I gotta admit. Antonio Giovinazzi, 5 out of 10. You know, poor qualifying, but then got P11 in the race. So, almost caught Ocon in the end, but unfortunately ran out of time. So, yeah, shame for that, for Antonio Giovinazzi, but good effort anyway to just finish outside of the points. Haas, Nikita Mazepin, 0, absolute 0 for Nikita Mazepin. I mean, he spun about 4 times this weekend, and in the race held up Lewis Hamilton, which I was absolutely fuming, because that could have been a horrible accident for Hamilton, the way he was held up. So 0 for Mazepin. Mick Schumacher, 9 out of 10. Now I'm giving Mick Schumacher 9 out of 10 because he got into Q2 for the first time ever in his career, and then in the race, unfortunately, got taken out by Fernando Alonso. So in the end, finished P19, which that was disappointing for Mick Schumacher in the end. But to make Q2 for the first time, absolutely fantastic. So 9 out of 10. George Russell. Now, you know me, I love George Russell, but you gotta be honest, it was not a great weekend to George Russell this weekend. 2 out of 10. I mean, he almost made it through to Q3, but made a massive mistake, and then in the race, just struggled to race pace. So, yeah, not a great weekend at all for George Russell. Nicholas Latifi, 0. Absolute 0. You know, back to the Latifi of old this weekend. Just not good enough, you know. P16 in the race, I believe. And obviously got knocked out in Q1. So, yeah, awful weekends and Nicholas Latifi. One to forget. Right, that's driver ratings. Team ratings. Mercedes, 9 out of 10, you know, really good points to Mercedes. So, yeah, obviously Bottas winning the race and Hamilton finishing P5 means the team pick up decent points. Red Bull, 10 out of 10, you know, P2 in the race and P3. Fantastic points to them, you know, gained massive points on Mercedes. And like I said, Perez needs to do that more often. McLaren, 6 out of 10, you know, not the best weekends for them this weekend. Ferrari, 9 out of 10, really good points for Ferrari in their battle against McLaren in the Constructors. Alpine, 6 out of 10, you know, good for Ocon, but unfortunately, Fernando Alonso had his race ruined. Aston Martin, 6 out of 10, really. Just good for Stroll, but Vettel really struggled, so yeah. AlphaTauri, 7 out of 10. You know, good points to them. Yuki Tsunoda, very unlucky. Alfa Romeo, 5 out of 10, really. Just average to them. Haas, 5 out of 10, really, you know. Good performance, though, by Mick Schumacher. As I said, got very unlucky in the race. And Williams, I mean, actually, I'm only going to give Williams 2 out of 10 this weekend. It's a dreadful weekend. So that's driver ratings done. Team ratings done. For the Turkish Grand Prix, we move on to Austin, Texas next, where that is a Lewis Hamilton circuit, so I cannot wait for that one. Hopefully Lewis Hamilton will pick up all 25 points in that one. Comment your thoughts down below, I will always reply. And yep, I'll be back a bit later on to do a preview of the England versus Hungary game. Bye-bye.